So was the first boat a good purchase? Because I assume you guys bought it with like a half-ass knowledge of what looks good, right? Do you think you made the right decision in buying that boat, or do you like, if knowing what you know now, would you have bought another boat?
So we get very, very lucky. Okay. Like one of the reasons we're still here today is because 6 years ago, when we bought the boat, we got extremely lucky. I think that there was part luck, but also part because we knew nothing about the sailboat and the sailing aspect of the boat back then. We bought a boat that was comfortable, that felt comfortable, that gave us the motivation to live on board. And that's a huge aspect of our lifestyle. If it's not comfortable, you're probably not going to want to stay as long as you do. Where we got lucky was that the boat was in immaculate conditions, and there was no way for us to assess that because we knew nothing about boats. But we got a really good broker who was selling the boat on behalf of the owners, and a really good surveyor who takes a look at all of the nooks and crannies of the boat and tells you about the state. And both of those people were extremely helpful, had our backs, had our best interest at heart. And I think that to this day, we can credit them for how successful we are today, because you can end up with a boat that breaks all the time, that is not adapted to what it is that you want to do, that had a lot of hidden defects that you were not aware of. And we were able to skip all of that. So knowing then, if we knew then what we know now, I think that we would have appreciated more the type of luck that we were having. But I think we would make the same decision.
Yeah,
because it was a good boat for our money.
So bringing back to the audience, anyone who wants to start with this life, I reckon what you mentioned here is that basically if you are starting to buy a boat as a beginner, the best way is to find a good broker and a good surveyor, and that will kind of cover at least half of your ass. Is there any other things that you guys would recommend with the knowledge that you guys have now for someone that's buying a new boat?
Yeah. So the one thing that we always say, and that applies to anybody, whatever boat or budget you have and you work with, is that when you buy a boat, you buy a piece of the former owner. So you want to make sure that the person who had the boat before you is somebody who maybe shares the same philosophy as you, who is transparent about the problems that they've had, who is willing to help you understand certain functions of the boat, because sailboats are so customizable and customized that there is no standard manual for how they work. So it's not like you're going to get a big book with how all the functions of your boat work. You also want to make sure that the person that was the owner of the boat before you maintained the boat very well, had a good maintenance philosophy, and took a thorough record of when things were maintained, when things were upgraded, and when they were changed, what kind of problems you had. Because you inherit all of this. You inherit how well or poorly the boat was maintained. Best advice, anybody who's buying a boat, make sure that you know the owner, you have good contact with them, or at least that they took really, really good care of their boat.